The moderator for the panel discussion is Mr. Prashant Joshi, Vice President, Geospatial Media and Communications. And in panelists, we have Mr. Milind Deshpande, Senior Vice President, Reliance Jio, Mr. Nikhil Kumar, Country Head, Here Technologies, Mr. Agendra Kumar, President, ESRI India, and Mr. P.V. Rai, Managing Director, Pixel Softech. So with this, I will hand over the session to the moderator, Prashant.
Hi, Milind. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good. Good afternoon, Prashant.
Good afternoon again. Good afternoon, everyone. So, in the meantime, we have Nikhil coming in, I would like to welcome everyone to this panel. This panel is a surprise for everyone because yesterday Government of India gave geospatial industry a big surprise. So, we thought why not to take this lovely opportunity and share our happiness about the new guidelines which has come out with the industry geospatial community, and that's the reason this panel is organized. So what we think is a very great moment for us, and since yesterday morning at 8:30 when we noticed the tweet from Honorable Minister of Science and Technology that there'll be an announcement at 11, we were all very excited and as per the past experience, very nervous. What would be the new guidelines would be, whether they'll be as friendly what we were expecting or not, what is going to be the future. But to be very honest, it's not only now we are not only excited and happy, but the future is always will remain exciting for the industry. I think we have Mr. P.V. Rai also from Managing Director Pixel Infotech. So, taking this further on the work which has come out for the geospatial, the responsibility now I'll say is on the geospatial industry, how we take it further. Because I would like to really thank the PMO, Prime Minister's Office, and Department of Science and Technology Secretary, the Joint Secretary, and the officials who were involved. They were really working very hard on this, and they were trying their best to come out with a very friendly policy, but we never expected this kind of policy, such a friendly policy. So thanks to Government of India on listening our demand, and now we promise that we will be able to deliver the best and grow our economy and contribute in that same. Since we don't have Nikhil yet, I think I'll put across some of my viewpoints on the regulations and the guidelines, and then we can take it further to the panel. So I believe the first important point which comes to our mind is it is going to really boost the economy, because the way today our geospatial industry stands at somewhere around 25,000 crores, and it employs around 2.5 lakh people. If with this kind of policy we have, I think in next 5 years we will be around 50 crores, and by 2030, 100 crore economy, as yesterday the Honorable Minister also mentioned in his talk, and very easily employing and generating employment around for 10 lakh people at different levels, because this is not only going to be a cream job, because geospatial industry employs from a surveyor to the topmost data modeling, artificial intelligence. So it will be employing various kind of people. Another important achievement would be if we see the kind of growth now which we will have. I personally feel a lot of large corporate sectors would be interested in making investment in the geospatial field in India, and actually this will help our industry, the geospatial industry community, to think of different business models. So we'll be looking forward now, moving forward from traditional market business opportunities to the new business opportunities. The other important thing which I feel is a point on self-reliance. So this guidelines we think is out of the box, we never expected. So now we have to gear up how our industry is going to capitalize and monetize on the data field, the open data which we are getting, and what kind of different business models we'll be developing. And in this, a lot of role will be played by the technology companies, because they have been the leaders, and they have to show a roadmap to the Indian companies, and Indian companies also need to learn and adopt from the out of India best practices and employ in India the best suitable manner. You cannot copy paste the same thing, but the best practices should be, and technology companies will be playing a very crucial role in this manner. I believe that. Then the other thing which will be a part of this ecosystem is the confidence which our industry now have to show to the government, because government has done their job, and as government has done to a level of the data can be self-attested, so nothing big you can ask. You have to be, industry has to be now responsible of creating the right data in a right manner, because India being the developed economy and having the geopolitical situations which we have to sustain ourselves in a right manner. So that's what my few viewpoints are on this guidelines. Now, since we have Nikhil also, I would like to go to the panelist and start the show. So before we start, my request to each one, and I think we can start from Mr. P.V. Rai. On 2 minutes each individual can give their viewpoints. What is their take on the new guidelines? So can we start from Mr. P.V. Rai, because this is the Aatmanirbhar Bharat for India. So Indian industry is really on a boom. Sir, please.
Thank you, Prashant. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Good afternoon to all, and and I thank AGI for this opportunity to be part of this panel. Just came in yesterday, and I hardly had time to go through that. But overall, if you look at it, it's a bold and revolutionary step. It should have happened long way back, if you ask me. Not after 70 years of independence, 70 odd years rather. And two things were impediments for growth of GIS industry. One was data restriction policy, and government trying to do everything by itself, or government departments trying to do everything by themselves. I think that was a big impediment for growth of GIS industry. And they didn't, we have expertise in the country basically, in terms of GIS and all that. If you look at it, somebody mentioned in the opening report, Mr. Again Kumar mentioned about that IT industry. This is, over the period, the IT industry, we are so strong. I think we are, addressing the requirement of the entire world when it comes to IT. I think it's going to happen in geospatial with this new policy. And best thing to happen, the monopoly of government will go. And as we all know, location information is already become part of mainstream IT application, right? And geospatial data is very critical for infrastructure development, planning, all sorts of things basically. And now, if you look at it, so far, all GIS companies, especially in the services, they were depending on overseas market for their the opportunities rather. Hardly anything was happening here. Even if the players were operating in the local market, I don't know whether they really make a decent margin in that, because such a low thing and that a lot of restrictions and things like that. Another thing was happening. Every time we come up with any new GIS or geospatial related projects, you end up starting with from scratch, creating map every time, and there was no map availability. If for a particular one department will create a map, for example, for a state or for a city, another department again they start redoing anything. I think that was spending a lot of time on that. With this, I think there will be opportunity for all new startups, new technology companies, especially in the area of GIS, were already there to come up with Prashant mentioned new business model and focus on the products and solutions rather than just services alone. And I'm sure there will be many applications like Ola, Uber coming out of India rather for in the area of GIS. Thank you, Prashant. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Rai. And as you said, yes, this should have come up way back, but it is there now. So we should relish and enjoy this and try to move further. Now I would like to request Agendra to have his feedback, though he gave some viewpoints in the inaugural, but again I would request it.
Yeah, I agree that this is a historic moment for geospatial community in India. By removing restrictions and making self-certification possible, government has made the life much easier, so that we can capture the data, we can process the data, we can share the data, and it will help both government as well as private sector in doing a lot more with geospatial data. It can actually be a game changer, because in many areas where geospatial data was not available, or people were not able to use geospatial based solutions, they'll be able to use now. Communities like startups will benefit. I think it will help in creating a lot of new jobs. It will help in urban development, agriculture, infrastructure development, in all those important areas.
Thanks again. Can I request Nikhil to present his views on the new guidelines?
Thanks, Prashant. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I mean, there's no gainsaying in the fact that there has been a tremendous process of regulation out of it, seeking approval, and those approvals were not very clear as to what to seek, from where to seek, and even then when you seek, whether the vetting process itself, how long it will take. So as industry expert, I will say this is a phenomenal development. Now there are two parts to it. One is when we are talking about taking the regulation out in terms of making it more pervasive, whether it is collection, it is management, storage, dissemination, and even publication within the territory of India. And we need a little more clarity. And I know that this is just the guideline. There will be certain SOP that will come into. But the clarity would be, at one place we are saying that it is free for export, which means that the data can go outside the territory of India. And at the same time, you are saying that storage should be within the territory of India. So I see a paradox here. And of course, this is early days. A lot of clarity would require to emerge. But that's something which is one thing that I would like to get down to. The second part, and then this is all when we are talking of making it open for everybody. Everybody for horizontal 1 meter and vertical 3 meter, which does actually address a lot of use cases, I don't deny. But when we are talking of more use cases, compelling use cases like the 5G, or you are talking of indoor positioning, smart city, utility, underground utility, you require higher level accuracy, and you talk about CORS, LiDAR, all that new age technology based data collection and the process or policy around it. And then I see a restriction there, limited to Indian entity, which needs to be further defined, though there has been an attempt to define that, but there has to be more clarity around that. When we are saying about the level playing field, level playing for everybody, level playing cannot be only for one part of the community and leave aside the other part. So these are the areas which I have certain concern, but enormously great development for a government to take a decision of this sort, making it completely free without securing any approval, and use your consents to decide what to be done. One category is basically allowing everybody, almost every company, to make use of 1 to 3 meter resolution data. There should be a level playing field for going beyond it. And there has to be more clarity in terms of the storage within the country, as well as the paradox coming from the export of such data outside India. So these are few things that is something that we need to have more clarity around. But enormously great development.
Thank you, Nikhil. Thank you so much. And I'm sure the guidelines, will get an opportunity with the government to discuss various aspects, good and bad, and we may be able to convey. But yes, as you said, it is a great landmark achievement. Now, as a user, I would request Milind sir how he looks at this, because you must be also facing challenges while delivering services. So what's your viewpoint, sir?
Oh yeah, challenges have been there for last 2-3 decades almost, since we started using geospatial technology. But I must say Mr. Rai actually stole the first opening words in my mouth. I wanted to say it's a very, very long overdue policy. Since I came into this industry more than 2 decades ago, this subject has been on the anvil and nothing was being done. I must really compliment the government and the bureaucrats who have really unshackled the industry. It's a very progressive policy. The guideline is very simply worded. There's very little doubt for in any confusion. And I'll from what I understood about a couple of concerns that Nikhil expressed. Nikhil, I think what I read about the data sharing, the data storage was applicable only for the high risk data, that is greater than 1 meter accuracy. And the negative list is actually for the attributes, if I understand correctly, and does not require any vetting or anything. So you simply are not allowed to collect those attributes that are on the negative list. So I think there is enough clarity, but yes, level playing field can be considered, but then that depends. There are a lot of protectionist countries in the world, so that's a different matter. Coming to again my views, I really like this policy, and I personally believe that there will be a lot more larger corporations that would be interested now to take advantage of the geospatial technology. In my experience, both in the utility sector, telecom sector and all that, at least 20 to 25% resources are, in my opinion, the word is very bad, but I must use it, they are wasted. Every time you start a new project, you start creating the data. Again, that data is, most of the times, is not good enough because it's the data itself, the raw data itself is not authentic and not georeferenced and so on and so forth. So I really, really wish that all that will be gone forever and we can really channelize all our energies and creativity to getting to the solution stage instead of talking about the data anymore. So that are my initial thoughts, and I really welcome this policy. I'm sure that it will benefit the entire geospatial industry of the country.
Thank you, sir. Actually, as you said, it is a welcoming step, and we all are looking forward. Now, I will have a quick question to each individual based on your expertise and the domain you are working on. My first question goes to Mr. P.V. Rai. Sir, as the policy is good, but I believe it's an icing on the cake for the Indian companies, as per the guidelines if we see, because it's not only open, but more focused towards the Indian companies. How do you see how the business model of Indian companies, the services and solution companies will evolve? What would be your new business directions? Would you be looking for the new business orientations?
Yeah, I fully agree with you. It goes in line with the Aatmanirbhar Bharat, the concept or focus rather, right? So Indian data, Indian entity. I think, as a company, see now, good point you raised. See, we started as an Indian company offering solutions and services in India. But, with all the restrictions, with all the challenges we have, and with the government doing everything by itself, so we thought, there's no big opportunity here, and we focus on the US market. 95% of our business is coming from the US or international market now. And now this is an opportunity for us to build the solutions. Maybe I think one area where I see a lot of potential where we see agriculture basically. There is a need for improving or increasing the productivity of these farmers, and then using these technology. I think technology is building. A lot of work is already going on, and we can definitely build solutions, low cost solutions, or using the geospatial technology to improve the productivity of the farmers. Another area is I think this year's budget rather focus on infrastructure. Definitely, a lot of things can be done. See, all infrastructure projects used to take a lot of time just to do that. Now, what is happening with this, I think it should open up and we should be able to speed it up. And healthcare. Now what is happening, vaccination and things like that. No, I think GIS will play a major role, and there's a lot of small startups or small companies which can really offer services here. I think there's a huge potential for startups and small companies who are really technology oriented or specialized in GIS. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. And the way you have explained into different sectors, there is a lot of scope, and actually the budget has also been major push for us also. There are a lot of opportunities which we foresee, and water is another one which we think there will be a lot of investments, and this geospatial is going to form a base for everything. Again, as Mr. Rice talked about different technology, you are from the technology side. What would be your strategy to support the Indian service industry, and especially the startup ecosystems, because the guidelines talk about development of APIs and other things also. So how you are going to play a role in this as a technology company?
Yeah. So in terms of technology, I think there'll be more adoption because in many areas where the data was not available earlier, now there'll be data access will be easy. So people will be keen to build applications using geospatial technologies. In government sector, we had a challenge that data was getting created once and getting used also only once. There was a lot of challenges between data sharing between one department and the other. I think those restrictions will go away, and many service providers, when they implement a project, they'll be able to consume technology. Similarly, private sector did not have access to geospatial data. It was very difficult and limited availability. With that going away, even private sector will start consuming technology and build applications which are supported by geospatial technologies. They are very positive step.
Yeah, thank you. So there's a huge hope from the technology side, because we need to adopt from the best practices, and that would be, you guys will be bringing that. So it's a level playing field in a way from the technology provider side to the service industry in India. Sir Milind sir, I have a question to ask to you, especially like Reliance as a group is a major user of geospatial technologies, and Geo has a lot of potential because you have so much of different sets of data available with you. Now with this policy, the guidelines coming up, do you foresee looking into venturing into different business model also?
Yes, definitely. But because until now, we had spent good bit of our resources in creating and maintaining the data, but we were unable to monetize it and use it only for internal purposes. So almost all of our telecom processes, they have at least, I would say, 40 to 60% geospatial component. So all the app part is getting used one way or the other. But now, until now we were not able to disseminate that data as part of a solution that can be public facing, that can be customer facing. So even the same thing is applicable even to other utility companies. A lot of companies, a lot of DISCOMs did RAP-DRP project, and they have a lot of data, but they have not been able to disseminate that data to their customer. Similar thing is the situation with other telecom companies. So I see in future this data will come out and start facing the customer, wherein customer will start getting better services from all these utility companies, whether they can get the service in a certain area, how quickly can they get it, where is nearest this and where is nearest that, and so on and so on. So all of those typical use cases that are very crucial to the utility and telecom sector. And when I say utility, it is not just electricity. It's telecom, it's water, it's city gas. So this is, in my opinion, with the repetitive wastage of resources on creating and maintaining landways, really a lot of solutions will start emerging. And in the current scheme of things, current technological environment, these, in my view, is that these may not be so many as products, but they may be more as services. Right. There may be services for electrical companies or services for CGD and so on and so on. Those kind of, so that Mr. Rai probably can comment on that kind of.
That's true, sir. So there's a lot of business opportunities, not only for the core geospatial sector, but for companies like you. One last question, because I'm getting messages from the secretariat. I have to wind up. Nikhil, I have a question for you. I know you have been a crucial and always wanted to have a liberal policy, and you showed some concerns before also. But just to go wind up before, since you wear a multinational hat and from here side, your views, I don't want only from the data side because you're offering the platform services also now. So how do you see yourself?
So good question. You actually asked two parts. One is the concern part and second is the platform part. Today is not a day for concern. As other panelists spoke about, today is really a great day where we see everything very progressive. We never expected, especially as Milind sir said, that in 2 decades of our association with industry, this is the most historic moment. We never expected this to happen, so this is not a concern time. And now where do I see, from the platform side that you see, there are 3 types of association with such data. One is a developer of data who creates such data. And it has been completely opened up. Even finer scale, there is no limit to any resolution that you can go on, using LiDAR, using everything. Indian entity and all that, as you right, Milind sir said that more countries are more restrictive. So let's keep it at that, but more on technology and platform side. So you can collect. The second is a presumer who is kind of using the data and creating certain professional application on top of it. And the third is a consumer. Now that brings in a whole notion of this platform as you spoke. Then you can have a marketplace where who are developing data, they can put that as because it's been allowed to publish now and share. So you can put your data because that's your business. You collect, you create the raw data into a content and you keep that content into the marketplace. The notion of the platform you spoke about. People can actually take a license of that content and use it into their application freely now, without the need to actually see whether that data is security cleared or not. So anybody who is developing today and taking my data, they ask me, is it security cleared? So there is that thing is concern is gone. And the third, because API is completely open for any scale now. And the third is, which is basically sharing, publishing it for whatever field of application you want it. Now, all the 3 actually bring in the platform thing very, very close and make it very relevant and useful. So from the platform side, from the application side, from the technology side, and just from the gathering and creating that into content side, everything is extremely progressive and it's a great step.
Great. Thank you. I think we are on time and I should wind up on time only. So thank you everyone. And as we said in the beginning, it's a happy moment. So we should all celebrate. One request I would make to the industry and to the audience also, since government has shown us such a good response, we should also reciprocate in the same way and showcase our happiness through social media and pass on the message that we are there and we will be there as per their expectations and will grow the industry. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Megha, over to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.